I'm live. Okay. We'll wait for a few people to hop on here. And might take a minute.
That's fine.
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing.
See that voice? I mean, you're so blessed with that distinctive voice.
I thought it was a curse.
You got.
Oh, I got one like and one person on. Hey, we got one person on. Let's see, how do I do this? How do I read my comments? Dang, I wished I could read comments. Oh, okay, Robert Porch. What's up, Robert? I guess I can, the wizard. How you doing? Hey, thanks, Robert. Hey, so, man, I got an interesting thing happened here to me. I'm here at the Rosin Hotel in Orlando, Florida, and we had kind of a party going on, a poolside party. And I was talking to some people, and I was talking a little bit loud. My wife says I talk way too loud, but I ran into Frank here, and he recognized my voice. Is that true, Frank?
Yes, I'm a huge fan for like, I don't know, last 7 years or so, 6 years, however long get.
Man, I'm really starting to like you, Frank. So you got to talk louder. So let's see. Love all you're doing, Robert Porch. Thanks. Wizard, I'm glad you're doing well. We got 10 people on. So anyways, I was talking to Frank here. Do you want people to know who your last name is?
No, not really, but
okay.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to hide it, but I went to Virginia Military Institute. I was a history and international relations major. Been an aircraft mechanic and a lot of other things.
Talk up real loud.
And I've just been a fan of history my whole life. My father was a civil engineer, and every time we drove by something, he'd give me the backstory of it. So from early age, I've always been interested in old history, Spanish missions, Indians, anything like that. And
so we was talking at the party the other night, and you was blowing my mind with all the knowledge that you have, man, because you was pretty diverse in a lot of different things. But let's just talk about my favorite thing, and I hope it's yours. And let me flip this around. Let's see. Yeah, let me flip this around. So, Frank, man, tell me what you was telling me about one of your favorite things of mine, out-of-place archaeology, and talk up loud for these guys to hear before you get started. Del Willingham, how you doing? Kim Johnson, what the heck are you doing in Florida, man? Kim Johnson, I'm learning about gold and silver. Anyway, so with that said, Frank, tell me what you love about out-of-place history, and tell me some of it. Tell me some of the stuff that you've been studying, what you've learned about. Talk up loud.
There's so many so many things that are outside of the historical perspective, the official narrative, that just don't make any sense. And they're real, and they're there, whether it's bones of giants, or it's like the Wabunzi stone in Chicago, which is a Carthaginian sacrificial blood altar. You know, it was turned into a water fountain for 100 years in the Museum of Chicago History. It was there when Fort Dearborn was built. It was a 3-ton rock. It wasn't moved around. There used to be, where the Chicago Sanitation Canal is right now, used to actually be a portage. And at one time, probably since previously the 1300s, it was actually a viable way to get from the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River. And if you look at the Kennebunkport stone, or Kennebunkport, I'm getting things mixed up, the rune stone in Minnesota, it's on a direct celestial heading out of that tower about 40 miles from Plymouth Rock, which is basically a Templar church. And you know, all these things start adding up. There's Roman coin hoards all over the United States. It doesn't make sense that this has happened. It wasn't brought by Romans.
Yeah, so the Roman coins, I used to think that was a fraud. I used to think people were, because you back a long time ago, you just buy them because they find them in the hordes over in Europe, you know? Yeah. And so I thought people was buying them, bringing them over here and pretending like they found them. But no, I know people who have actually found Roman coins here, you know, in strange, out-of-place places.
Exactly, and the Roman glassware, I mean, in Utah, in Colorado, in the Ohio River Valley, you know, you can look at the molecules inside the glass and you can tell where it's from, and you can get an idea of how old it is. And none of this stuff is recent, and none of it is from North America. And vice versa, you go to Europe or you go to the Middle East, and all this copper there's a database of all your different copper deposits and the different impurity levels. And I heard that it's upwards of 50% of all the copper that's ever been found in Europe is not from Europe. It's from Minnesota, Upper Peninsula of Minnesota, or from Western Kansas. And no one ever talks about that.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, tons and tons and tons and tons of copper taken out of the Great Lakes region. Yeah, pure, I mean, it's pretty pure copper.
And even more crazy, all along the Mississippi River, there's these places where it appear that they basically smelted copper ore into oxhide ingots. And you can date the charcoal, you can figure things out, and there's a whole level of archaeology that the robber baron funded universities are basically trying to keep hidden from us because they want a certain narrative, they want a certain worldview. And we have Phoenician sacrificial altars in New England. Now we have the Ten Commandments stone in New Mexico. Now that's written in Proto-Hebrew. That scientists didn't even know what Proto-Hebrew was until like the 1890s or so. They couldn't decipher till they found that stone, the Rosetta Stone.
The Decalogue, the Rosetta, yeah.
Allowed them to translate, so nobody knew what the hell it was. Yet we know that stone existed in the 1820s or 1830s. So how could someone forge something before the modern people even knew how to read it or what it was or anything about it? There's just examples all over this country. You know, the Catalina Island off the coast of California, full of giant skeletons with photographs. I mean, well, we're not talking old photographs either, like from the beginning of the 20th century. So, you know, there's a definite, this one really kills me, all the Egyptian hieroglyphs in Australia, Indonesia,
them are pretty cool.
Like that. That's something that, you know, most of us have our own little niche and we stay in that. We never look at the big picture. And so as far as I know, no one's ever done a compendium of all the crazy crap out there that doesn't fit into the normal historical narrative. And, you know, the Romans never went to Ireland. The Irish academics lied about that for 50, 60 years. And yet now we're finding Roman camps, Roman roads, Roman coins, everything that would prove that there was Roman civilization in Ireland. Yet for their national pride, they won't allow it. And in this country, we have a very similar thing with the academia that's been bought out by the robber barons since the 1860s, 1870s. And just like in medicine and other fields, you know, there's certain areas you just don't go into because you won't get funding. It's the same thing with history. It's the same thing with archaeology. It's the same thing with anthropology. And I'm hoping there's other people out there that are more versed in this that can basically put together a compendium 4 or 5 hour interview with Terry about hitting all the highlights in all the different states of all the different crazy stuff that doesn't match. You know, up in Alaska, Copper River, you know, they're finding all these mammoth bones and signs of human civilization. Yeah, 500,000 person cities, you know, million person cities. Nebraska, they're finding aluminum fence remnants along with dinosaur bones. There's some just crazy stuff that, you know, people don't want to talk about because they want to continue getting funding. But they'll talk to family and friends or other people, and some of it slips out. Somebody does a YouTube video on it, but there's no central encyclopedia of all this for people to put it all together.
So with that said, Frank, I got talking to him, and he's a wealth of knowledge. And I got Lost Tomb of Alexander, Tales from Florida, Be Safe. That's got to be Harry Hubbard. Harry Hubbard, man, he's one wealth of information, especially on the Burroughs Cave. But you think he's just Burroughs Cave? No, man, that guy's got maps. He's got ancient coins. He's traveled around searching. If that's you, Harry, man, thanks for sharing. And I got a surprise for you, Harry, man. That guy who lost the thumb drive or threw it away and deleted the pictures that you wanted, he's found them. So I'll try and get them to you. So with that said, man, Frank, I appreciate you. And let me turn this back around. I get you in here. That's Frank and Terry poolside at the Rosin Hotel in Orlando, Florida. But before I sign off, man, I want to say, man, that we got the 2025 Moon Lake Gathering coming up in Duchesne, Utah at the event center. Man, we got people coming in from all across all across the country, and we got people. We got speakers lined up. We got Demonstrations lined up, and I don't want to say too much about all that stuff because we're still ironing everything out, but man, this is going to be a great time. But the greatest thing of this thing, the greatest thing of the Moonlight Gathering is to meet all the people like you guys out there that have way more knowledge than me, a lot more smarter than me. And like last year, I know there was groups of people that met and got together, man, formed some expeditions and went out to New Mexico and did some things. There's a lot of things that went on. You coming to the 2025 Moonlight Gathering?
I lived it as a dream. I've been wanting to go the last 5 or 6 years, but since it started, that I remember that when I found you and heard about it. But I want to go to the Lost Mountains. I want to walk around and see all that stuff. And I grew up in Southern California where the missions were. So when they discovered Spanish armor and pistols underneath San Juan Capistrano when they were doing some excavation in the 80s, that was like, wow, that's so cool that some soldier was pilfering and hiding stuff. And yet you can go to Utah where they actually ended up dying and they had armories and stuff. And there's stories of Sioux warriors with Spanish helmets and stuff.
Yeah,
there's stories, but people talk about it, and it's out there, especially in history.
There's a lot of cool things out there, but we just never hear about it, So what have I got saying here? I gotta try and read. Davey, I can't read. The sun's kind of in. Thanks so much, sir. Davey Croc. I can't read it because the sun's in my eyes. But anyways, hey, thank you guys for jumping on. Like I said, this is Terry and Frank poolside at the Rosin Hotel in Orlando, Florida, signing out and saying, hey, thank you guys for jumping on. You guys have a great day. With that, that's a wrap. If I can figure out how to shut it off. I gotta turn it around so I can see.